My people, come closer. This one, you must hear it to believe it. In a quiet village called Umudim, there lived two sisters, Ngozi and Ijeoma, born of the same mother, raised under the same roof, but life took them on very different paths. Ngozi, the elder sister, was everything society praised, a light-skinned beauty with expensive clothes, straight wigs, and Instagram followers. She married into wealth early and relocated to the city. Her laughter was loud, her tongue sharper than a razor. Whenever she visited the village, the ground trembled beneath her heels. Ijeoma, on the other hand, was the shadow, dark-skinned, quiet, the kind who hid behind the curtain when visitors came. She stayed behind to take care of their aging grandfather, Papa Kalu, while Ngozi lived like royalty in the city. When Baba Kalu died, his will shocked everyone. He left his lands to his two granddaughters, but not equally. The land in the city outskirts, near development, was given to Ngozi. The remote bushland near Umudim River was left to Ijeoma. The villagers were stunned. Even Ngozi laughed out loud during the reading. That forest, Abba, sure it is monkeys you want her to inherit? Or will she plant there? Snakes? She turned to her sister and smirked. Well done, no. You finally become the queen of Bush Kingdom. Ijeoma didn't speak. She took her paper, thanked the lawyer, and walked home barefoot. That night, she cried quietly under a raffia mat, but she made a promise she would make something out of the nothing she was given. Meanwhile, Ngozi returned to the city with her head high. She threw a party, even posted a video mocking village life. Imagine me fetching water with calabash. God forbid. Thank God I escaped that useless life. Back in the village, Ijeoma packed a few belongings and moved to the inherited land. It was thick, wild, and crawling with insects, but it was hers. Ijeoma tried to smile, but behind closed doors, she broke. Her grandfather had loved her. Why give her that? Was this all she wanted? But she had no other option. The first day she stepped onto the land, she was stung by wasp. The second day, she twisted her ankle on uneven ground. The third day, while trying to clear a section with a blunt machete, she fainted under the scorching sun. She had no money for laborers, no water supply, no shelter on the land. So, she camped in an old hut nearby, where rain leaked through the roof at night, soaking her mat and blanket. Children laughed as they passed her, struggling with the thick bush. Even elders whispered, she for just sell the land and go learn tailoring. This one no get future here. Still, she woke up every morning before sunrise. She chopped down trees, dug stumps, bent the grass, planted cassava and maize. With cracked hands and sore feet, she sang softly to herself, one day, this land will know I worked here. Ngozi came back months later for a wedding and passed by with her friends. They slowed down their SUV when they saw Ijeoma under the sun, dragging firewood. Ngozi wound down her window and shouted, Hey, Bush Queen, I hope your kingdom is treating you well. See your skin, black like firewood. Her friends burst into laughter. Ijeoma turned away, holding back tears. That night, she cried into her thin wrapper, her body aching, her spirit bruised, but she didn't stop. She kept clearing, kept planting, kept believing. The rains came late that year, and Ijeoma's crops suffered. Her maize bent like tired knees. Her cassava barely took root. She was ready to give up. But one morning, while digging a hole near a corner of the land to bury rotten yam, her cutlass struck something hard, then soft, then oily. At first, she thought it was palm oil that someone buried, but as she dug deeper, a strange smell filled the air. Thick, dark liquid bubbling beneath the soil. She touched it, sniffed it, then washed her hands quickly. Terrified. Is it poison? She wondered. or curse? Days later, a group of men arrived in the village wearing boots and helmets. They were surveying land across the region for a government-backed pipeline expansion. They were engineers. One of them noticed the stained patch on Ijeoma's farmland and called their supervisor. They returned the next week with a geologist. That same week, Barrister Amos, their late grandfather's lawyer, came to see Ijeoma. My dear, do you know what you found? No, sir. I only saw something black, like thick palm oil. That's crude oil, Ijeoma. She froze. Crude oil? On my land? Yes, he said, smiling. The state government has confirmed it, and under law, you are entitled to royalties, relocation, compensation, and options for partnership. Her lips trembled. Me? Royalties? Compensation? Millions, my dear, possibly more. You may need to open a bank account that handles international transfers. Ijeoma sat down on bare ground. She looked at the same soil where she had once wept from hunger. God, you remembered me. Ijeoma didn't tell anyone yet, not even the villagers. She simply accepted the terms quietly. The oil company gave her a relocation package and she moved into a new bungalow on the edge of the village, fully furnished with running water and a generator. They began development on the land. Engineers brought heavy machines. The bush was cleared. Roads were laid. Security personnel moved in. The same people who mocked her now greeted her with respect. Good afternoon, Madam Ijeoma. The village chiefs invited her for meetings. Young men called her Madam Oil, but Ijeoma stayed quiet, observing, listening, not proud, just grateful. Ngozi's world was collapsing. Her husband's import business was caught up in a smuggling scandal. EFCC froze their accounts. Their mansion was seized. Friends stopped picking her calls. Her social media followers turned on her. She sold off wigs, then handbags, then jewelry. She had nowhere to go. One evening, dragging 2 boxes and holding her crying son, Ngozi entered the village gate wearing a face mask and sunglasses. People whispered. She didn't look at them. She walked straight to her sister's new home and knocked. Ijeoma opened the door, stunned. Ngozi removed her glasses slowly. Their eyes met. There was silence. Then Ngozi, with her head bowed, whispered, Ijeoma, please, I need a place to stay. Ngozi entered Ijeoma's home like a shadow, quiet, humble, and pretending. She dropped her bags at the door and hugged Ijeoma with trembling arms. Sister, life has dealt with me, she whispered, eyes red. I've lost everything. I just need a roof over my head, just for a while. Ijeoma, taken aback, nodded slowly. You can stay. She gave her the guest room and prepared food for her and the little boy. The next few days, Ngozi washed plates, swept the compound, and joined Ijeoma in evening prayers. Everyone believed she had changed, but behind a smile and folded wrapper, Ngozi was watching, calculating. One afternoon, while Ijeoma was away at a community meeting, Ngozi tiptoed into her sister's bedroom. She searched the wardrobe, drawers, kitchen cabinets until she found a red file labeled Land Title / Oil Lease Agreement. She opened it slowly and saw what she had suspected. Ijeoma was now a multimillionaire. Tears of anger welled up in her eyes. So, this bushland she inherited, this same coast land, now has oil, she eased. And this girl wants to live rich, while I, Ngozi, rot like a rat. She took out her phone, snapped photos of the documents, then quickly returned everything in place. That night, she smiled at Ijeoma and helped serve dinner. She even led the closing prayer. May God protect all that we own. Amen. But the next day, she snuck into the next town to meet a crooked land official. I need you to forge land transfer papers, she said. Backdate them. Make it look like Ijeoma signed it over to me years ago. That will cost you. Money is not the problem, she lied. I will handle it once the oil deal is under my name. Ijeoma began to notice small things. Her documents weren't exactly where she left them. Her bedroom door was once slightly ajar when she was sure she locked it. A neighbor said they saw Ngozi speaking with strange men in the next town. Ijeoma didn't confront her. Instead, she went to Barrister Amos. I have a feeling she's up to something. Good. Then let's set a trap. They drafted new papers and placed decoys in the house, fake documents with altered figures and coded clauses. 1 week later, Ngozi visited the oil company, posing as Ijeoma. She wore a head wrap and borrowed one of Ijeoma's wrappers. My name is Ijeoma, she said, handing over the forged documents. I am here to discuss the new agreement. But as the company staff reviewed the files, the door opened. And in walked Barrister Amos, the real Ijeoma, 2 company executives, and 2 village chiefs. Ngozi froze. You were saying, Ijeoma? Barrister Amos asked coldly, her mouth open, but words refused to come. The documents you brought are fake, said one of the chiefs, and we have the proof. Ijeoma stepped forward, her voice calm but heavy. You tried to steal from me again. First, my dignity, now my land, but this time you will face the truth. Ngozi broke down in tears, her makeup running. I was desperate. I didn't know what else to do. But you knew how to deceive, how to lie, how to steal, the chief replied. The oil company withdrew all contact with her. The villagers heard the story. The shame spread like wildfire. Ngozi sat on the bare floor in front of the elders and oil executives, shaking and sobbing, her wrapper soaked with shame. She had no more pride, no more voice, just the deafening silence of disgrace. Ijeoma stood a few feet away, silent, watching, remembering. She remembered the night Ngozi called her a bush girl. She remembered eating soaked garri while Ngozi flaunted designer bags online. She remembered sleeping on a leaky mat while her sister laughed in AC. And yet, here they were. Why didn't you just ask me for help, Ngozi? Ijeoma finally asked. Because you were never supposed to rise, Ngozi blurted out. You were the failure, the one left behind. I mocked you because I thought that was your place. Her voice broke. I didn't know life would choose you. There was silence. Then Ijeoma spoke, not with revenge in her voice, but calm wisdom. Life doesn't choose who to bless. It watches who endures. You mocked my poverty, Ngozi, but that poverty made me strong. You had gold and wasted it. I had nothing and I built something. The elders nodded solemnly. So, what will you do now, Ijeoma? One asked. We can involve the police if you wish. She looked at her sister, broken, desperate, crying not just from shame, but from deep-rooted jealousy that had turned poisonous. No, Ijeoma said. I won't press charges. Ngozi looked up in disbelief. But she will leave my house today. She will work to survive, like I did. And if the day ever comes when she learns to humble herself truly, she can return. Not as a thief, but as a sister. Ngozi crawled on her knees. Please, forgive me. I don't have anywhere to go. You didn't give me anywhere to stay when I needed you, Ijeoma replied softly. Now, you must learn how it feels to build from the ground. The chiefs agreed. Justice must teach, not just punish, one said. Let her go. Months later, Ijeoma's land became one of the top oil-producing spots in the region. She used part of the wealth to open a training center for village women, teaching them farming, crafts, and how to build wealth from scratch. Ngozi was seen living in a small rented house in the neighboring village, working as a cleaner in a primary school. She never lifted her eyes when Ijeoma passed by, but Ijeoma always greeted her, gently, kindly, from a place of peace. The story ended where it began, on that same land, where she once cried in pain. She now stood. Never mock the one below you, because tomorrow may turn the ladder upside down. The land they laughed at may become the land they bowed to.